We all know that the ladies just love dorky shit. So today we're going to slicken some thighs with Spelljammer, the latest offering from Wizards of the Coast for the world's greatest role. I'm sorry, you see my knees? I'm not wearing pants right now, so you can probably see sexy knees there. So I didn't want to get things too hot, too soon, too fast. There's plenty of time. Stop rushing. But Spelljammer. Spelljammer's a thing. Spelljammer's a campaign setting. It says right there on the box, Adventures in Space. Now, you might ask yourself, what's the point? Like, who would do something like that? And the answer is D&D would. Now, I have a lot of mixed emotions about this product that we're going to go into. It's a wild roller coaster ride of emotion for me on a lot of different ways because I am a huge fan of the old campaign setting box sets from way back when, if you were maniacs were kicking around in the 90s or whatever, early 90s, I think is kind of when they stopped doing them. But they would come out with you had your base game rules for Dungeons and Dragons, and then they would come out with new worlds to play on, new settings, each of which varied in theme and all that good stuff. And they would sell it to you in a nice, pretty box, and they would have maps, and they would have books, and it would have information, and just about everything that you needed to run games in these awesome, brave new worlds. And isn't that fantastic and cool? I think so. And when 3rd edition hit, they kind of strayed from that. And they did revise or redo the campaign setting books. There was like a Forgotten Realms book, but instead of a box set, it was just a normal hardcover book. I know there shouldn't be a difference, really, but for me, I will always prefer a set of some kind because it just makes it seem grander, more official. So to see them going towards the really nice slipcase 3-book set, there's even a screen in there. I mean, that's just amazing. It's good quality stuff. It's Wizards of the Coast. They're the Nike of dork shit. So of course, like, that you don't have to worry about quality. As far as the physical products themselves. My main concern with Spelljammer, being somebody who is completely new, this is all very, very, very new to me because when I was coming up, my group avoided Spelljammer like monkeypox, Gurulon pox, I guess you could say, in this particular instance. But yeah, it was pretty wild. Nobody really cared much to play. I just knew they were giant hamsters. I wasn't really interested in Dungeons and Dragons in outer space. If I want to play a game in outer space, I will play an outer space game. I don't want to be a dwarf with an axe riding a pterodactyl in motherfucking asteroid pants. We're just going to push on. We're just going to keep going with this. It didn't resonate with me at the time. So I never really got into Spelljammer. So I don't know. So if you're looking for comparisons between the original Spelljammer box set, which looks like it's straight out of 1973, or this one, you're going to be disappointed because I don't know. I went into this completely blind other than knowing Spelljammer's kind of goofy. So that's fine. I'm old. I'm beat up. I'm broken down. I don't smile too much. So if you're going to give me something that's kind of out there, all right, sure. I guess now's the time. I'm going to be dead soon. My standards have just plummeted. So, all right, let's do this. I find if they're going back to the campaign set, which I am all for, please do this. Please, from now on, release your campaign setting books when you do them, few and far between. Like the last one was Ravenloft. My God, how I wish they would have done one of these for Ravenloft. But that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so if you're starting again with the campaign setting stuff and you're coming out with the sets, I'm going to keep saying box set. When I say box set, I mean this because for me, it's the same shit. But I thought Spelljammer was a really, really odd choice. I would have assumed they were going to do Forgotten Realms, stick with the old standby, maybe Greyhawk, maybe, but probably Forgotten Realms because that's the boring one that everybody seems to love except me. But anyway, but to start, to lead with Spelljammer, to me is a very, very bold statement on a business sense. I was shocked to pay $40 for this. There are 3 hardcover books in here. Count them, 1, 2, 3. I double dog dare you to count them. And there's a really, really very nice screen in there as well. For $40, do you know how many questionable things I purchased in my life for $40? It's a very long, disturbing, shameful list, to be perfectly honest with you. So that tells me they think this is going to be bad. I think the original price was like $70. For 3 hardcover books, $70, that's a steal. So to get it for that, let alone $40, I didn't think they had a lot of faith. I thought they were like, all right, this is going to bomb. This is going to tank. Just sell it as cheap as possible and we'll deal with it. Deal with the fallout later. That's what I thought. But I had positive hopes because no matter what, I was going to buy this. This could have been blank. They could have just said, we're going to send you blank books with nothing in them, except except your driver's license. They could have just mailed me my driver's license. They could have stolen from me and then mailed it back to me, and I would have easily paid them $40 because I want to support this. Not because I want to support Spelljammer. I want to support box sets again. I want to support going back to the campaign setting where you get a world in your hands. I just think that's such a great feeling. So I'm for it. I'm for this. Please keep doing this, but please don't do it this way. Here's what I'm talking about. Now we're getting into the review proper. I'm sorry. Spoiler-free review? Can you spoil a role playing? I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've never in my life purchased 3 books, gone through the vast majority of it. I read a lot of it. There's not really, it looks like a lot. It's really not. Each book is about 70 pages. That's not a lot. You have a monster book that's full of monsters. Okay. All right. And then you have, your normal book that kind of gives you like the lowdown on what's going on. The general kind of, I guess, player's guide, I guess. It's got the new zany races, that you might run into that you could play, and some special rules for outer space, breathing, whatever. Fine. And then the third book is an adventure. Okay. That is all you need pretty much. But not quite. You would think between those 3 books, you have every single thing you need, and you would be quite wrong because Spelljammer failed in the one way I was very, very confident that it would not. What I mean by that is I went through this and there was so much missing, so much unexplained. It's tremendously vague. I don't know how you can give me 3 hardcover books crammed with information and still leave me feeling like I'm missing something. It feels like this was 4 books, but I just didn't get the 4th one, and that's where all the important stuff was. Here's what I mean. Here's some examples. In a campaign setting, there's not enough space normally for them to depict an entire world. So they'll normally take a continent. Like in Birthright, it's the continent of Cerealia. So they'll take the continent of Cerealia, they'll detail some of the movers and shakers, some of the big current events, what's going on, yada, yada, yada. Maybe give you some adventure hooks, whatever. You pick where you want to play and you kind of fill in the blanks as you go, okay? Or in Greyhawk, it's like the Flanace, a fucking weirdo word. I don't know, it starts with an F. But okay, so you take a big chunk of the world, and like if they made an Earth role-playing game, right? They would be like, okay, we're going to do Earth, the role-playing game. So this is Europe. We're going to focus on Europe, or we're going to focus on, the Americas, or we're going to focus on Asia or whatever. They wouldn't do everything because there's only so much you could cram in a box set. Okay. So that's normally how it goes. In Spelljammer, which takes place in outer fucking space, the extent of this is, here's what's going on this asteroid, moon, space station, whatever. It's like it's a city called Brawl, B-R-A-L. Real creative name in the city, guys. What else do you got? What other bright ideas do you have? So it's this city of Brawl, and it goes into detail on that. And there's some businesses. Actually, I think there's less than 10 pages of setting material as far as like, here is a place. We're going to depict it. We're going to give you a taste of what's going on. We're going to introduce some movers and shakers. And they just don't. They kind of don't. It's a very abridged little clip, a little taste. You get a little spice, a little speck of salt for a meal that never arrived. And it's very strange, because the thing I was worried about with this box set, the thing that my biggest concern was making the connection or that taking that leap. You know what I mean? D&D in space. That's fucking weird. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bridge that, really. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wrap my head around that and not think this is stupid, this is stupid, this is dumb. And I figured if they're going to do it in a tongue-in-cheek way, where it's going to be fun and it's just kind of a go along with it thing, I could probably deal with that, because, you know, I'm not into the ultra serious shit. If you're going to give me something zany, something fun and silly, I'll take it as it's intended. So if they're going to do that, I thought, okay, that might be good. But if they're going to try to make it serious, if they're really going to try to sell me that this shit is cool with fucking wait, hold on. I got to check if I'm actually recording my audio here, because, okay, sorry. If you're really going to try to make this serious, I'm going to bristle against that and then have a nervous breakdown and probably start a fire somewhere. I don't know. But luckily, it is goofy. It's the right kind of goofy. You know, right in the beginning of the adventure, they say, and I remember when I picked this up, and I said this on my podcast or something, I said, if they're going to play this off like a Flash Gordon kind of silly, like, yes, it's silly, but it's supposed to be silly. It's supposed to be fun. If they're painting in those very, very bright colors, I'll like it. Because I like that flavor of thing. I can't really come down too harshly on something being silly if it's not taking itself seriously. So, I was very pleased to see right at the beginning of the adventure, they say this is in the spirit of like a Flash Gordon type thing. So use that when you're running this adventure. Like that's what they're going for. So good. That was a nice relief for me to read that. And oddly enough, it went down easy. That's kind of the only way I can explain it as far as the theme. Like, the art is bright and beautiful and colorful. Obviously, it's Wizards of the Coast. They're on point, with all that shit. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get quality on the art front there. So it's all good. The look, the stuff I was thinking was going to be the hardest for me to get over, I got over very quickly, because I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of silly. It's kind of meant to be tongue in cheek. It's kind of meant to be a little bit goofy. It's meant to be fun. And there's not nearly enough fun in life. But then again, I'm bald and I'm old and I'm gross. So I guess that makes a great deal of sense now that I take a second to think about it. So the part I thought was going to be the hardest to get over was the easiest to go down. And the part that I thought, well, they're definitely going to get this right. The general premise of a campaign setting. Take a chunk of the area, give me the lowdown, give me the main idea, give me what's going on, give me some factions, give me some main players, right? If somebody's like, Dave, tell me about Star Wars. And I would say, okay, well, there's a guy in a black cloak and he, breathes real heavy and stuff like that. He's a bad guy and he runs this big bad empire and they're really oppressive and all this stuff. And then you have this plucky group of rebels and they're going to fight. You're painting a picture of what's going on. And in Spelljammer, they take 5-6 pages to describe a city to you. And then you have to kind of cannibalize what you can from the printed adventure. That's not how you do it at all. Which begs the question, what the fuck is in this? What took up all that precious, valuable space? Because at the end of the day, this is a campaign setting. I need some info here. If you're going to just leave it up to me and be like, well, Dave, I don't know, you come up with shit. Well, okay, then don't charge me for this. How about that? If I have to do the work anyway. But okay. So, so the main book, what is it? Astral, I'm reading it as Astral Adventures Guide. The player's book, I guess, or whatever. It's got the new playable races in there, which are cool, but again, vague, right? You got hippo people, you got monkey people, you got some like clockwork automaton gnomes, like that Sega CD game, Clockwork Knight. I always wanted that game. I thought it looked so cool. You have no idea how much Sega CD broke my heart. You just don't know. You don't. I had hair until that. Then it is what it is. But so you have your zany races in there. That's fine. And then they mention a race called I will never. This word is so stupid. Githyanki or something like that. The green guys with the weird noses. They look like green Skeletors, kind of, and they're like, you could be a Githyanki too, and if you want to know their shit, go buy this other book. It's like, bitch, how about this? Take the time to put the 2, maybe possibly 3, if we're getting really in depth, pages, and just reprint it. How about for the sake of convenience? I know everybody's got to make money. We got to sell 900 books. I got you. But I already have 3 books at least to play these 3 books. So can we stop with this is a playable race, but if you want to know about them, fucking go buy some. Just please. I beg of you. Anyway, that sucks and that's stupid. Also, what they do in this, which drives me... okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Vagueness. Vagueness is the overall theme and why this is so fucking disappointing. It's vague. It's so vague, and to give me 3 books and to still have me have so many questions is just... It's mind-blowingly vague. Because when you come out with a campaign setting that is so out there, that is so vivid, colorful, imaginative, whatever, so different, that's the word I want to use, you've got a lot of explaining to do. You have to paint me a picture as somebody running a game so that I can paint it to the players so that everybody's kind of on the same page. This just kind of starts and is like, yeah, you're in space and blah, 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 and here's how breathing works. Like, whoa, okay, slow down. How about start from the beginning? It's a little early in the morning for me, and you're going to have to really kind of sell this. You're going to have to give me some flavor here. Normally I complain about like White Wolf, like the old Vampire the Masquerade books and shit like that. They were horrible with the flavor books to the point where it's like, please stop wasting my precious pages with your fan fiction. Yeah, I get it. I'm never going to read the stories in between the chapters. Please stop. You can do a couple of pages. That's fine. But when it's like chapters of shit in between stuff I want to read, leave me alone, please. I never thought I would say this. This needs more flavor material. Because it just starts off right away with the rules, and it's kind of like, okay, stop. This is a big stretch here as far as a setting, as far as a campaign. It's very different, so you're going to have to take some time, and you're going to have to kind of like get me started painting this picture for me, getting everybody in the mood for all this fucking wacky weird shit. You can't just drop fucking hippo men on me. I'm sorry, you can't. Anyway. Vagueness. When they introduce the different new species like astral elves or whatever, they give you a couple paragraphs on them, and they really don't tell you much. The cool thing that I love about role playing games and games with colorful, creative species to play or whatever is I want to know a lot about them. I want to know the differences in how they interact, the history, current events, what's going on, like how all these weird, wacky, zany people kind of interact and how things go. Is this race particularly aggressive? Are they particularly intellectually minded or what have you? And I'm not talking about just ability scores, because that's pretty boring. If you're an elf, you get +2 this, you get +1 this, or whatever the fuck. All right. I get it. I understand. This is a lot more detached from that. In Spelljammer, I don't know if this is a new thing D&D wide or anything like that, but in this, you pick your race, you take their stuff, any special shit they have, you make one thing +2, one of your ability scores, you add 2 to it, you add 1 to another ability score, or you can bump up 3 by +1 each, which is pretty cool. It gives you a lot more freedom, because it does suck when you really like a particular race, but that doesn't really work for the class you want to play. So I do kind of like them removing that restriction. It does have the effect of kind of sort of watering down the races just a little bit. And again, when you include all that extra vagueness, this is just filled with vagueness. You just open it, vague, 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 vague. It's inveigling when you think about it. But that's what I came away with. Like, you read about the GIF people, or the GIF, the hippo head guys, and then it's like, okay, well, Dave, what about them? Tell me about them. They're big hippo guys. They use guns. Why aren't there guns in here? And again, look, I'm a human. I have very low intelligence. I'm not too bright. I'm sure I missed a bunch. Am I crazy? Because they mentioned firearms and guns and gats and shit like that, and rifles and all that stuff, but I didn't see like an equipment list. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I did, but I don't think so. The books are only 70 pages each. I think I would have found it, but we'll say I missed them. Okay. We'll say I missed them. Again, vague. I didn't see any kind of culture or personality to any of the races, right? Like, what are the monkey people like? They're monkey people. And they got weird, like, sugar glider thing. That's just weird. The dead black eyes. It's very irritating. Very, very irritating. And sexual at the same time. But my arousal aside, vagueness. Speaking of vagueness, one of the cool things about campaign settings is how it kind of alters the rules of the base game. So if you have a campaign setting, oh boy, I have to mute my thing. It's just girls saying, Dave, when are you going to come kiss me? I need to be kissed. I need to be hugged and loved by you. Sweetheart, I know. Give me a break. Daddy's making art. All right. Give me a break. I need some time. I need some time to process all this vagueness. So, a lot of times campaign settings will change some basic rules of the game, or there will be new mechanics, right? Which means some new magic. Maybe a campaign setting will have some new spells, or some spells will be renamed or work a little bit differently. Or maybe in this world, magic entirely works a different sort of way. Like, I don't know, going way, way back to like the old Glantry Kingdom of Magic box set, you had like radiance spells that very high level wizards could cast or whatever that were just, it was something very, very specific to that particular setting. Ravenloft has rules for going crazy and losing your mind or whatever the fuck. Neat. Okay, cool. The game, the flavor affects the actual rules, and I'm for that. I love that. In Spelljammer, guess how many brand new exciting spells are in this campaign setting set in outer space? This many. This many. Do you want to know how many brand spanking new magic items are in this brand new campaign setting? I'm lying to you. It's this many. 3. There are 3. You mean to tell me in your outer space game you can only think of 3 unique magic items with people riding whales in outer space? That's all you got. Vague as fuck. And that is the premise of the entire book. The Astral Adventurer's Guide takes up a great amount of space and a great amount of pages with a lot of pretty pictures about funky looking ships that look like crabs or goats or scorpions or whatever the fuck. Fine. Great. Look at that. It's a galleon floating in outer space. Okay, cool. Can somebody please explain to me where these things came from? Do you build them? Can anybody just say, I'm going to build a fucking spaceship and then just start nailing planks together and sail it into the stars? Vague. Vague. It doesn't go into, well, okay. I was going to say it doesn't go into factions or any big bads or big goods for that matter. It doesn't, like in most campaign settings, like going back to Birthright, like, they had all these little laminated flyers or whatever of like some of the important NPCs, some of the movers and shakers of the world. So you had, like Darian or Rove Manslayer or the Gorgon, like people who are big fucking deals in this campaign setting, in this world, the movers and the shakers of the world, to give you an idea of who the big bads and the big goods are, right? Of this new campaign setting. Spelljammer is just completely vacant on this. I mean, you could say, well, Dave, they have the adventure has characters and this, that, the other thing. Yeah, but should we rely on that? Like, I would much rather, instead of having an adventure book, just take 70 pages and give me places and people and events and factions. You know what I mean? And again, you can't fit an entire world in a box, let alone an entire fucking galaxy. But you're going on such a massive scale, and you're depicting, you're giving me this to play with, and then you're detailing this. And you have 3 books to do all of that. How about take your adventure, throw it away, take 70 pages and devote it to, hey, maybe you might want to play in this part of the galaxy. There's some pretty cool stuff going on in here. Currently, there's a war going on in this little pocket of wild space or whatever the fuck, or whatnot, and deliver a world, deliver a setting, a setting to campaign in, like a campaign setting for perhaps. Maybe that would work. It blows my mind how the 5th edition Ravenloft book did so much shit in a single book. The job those motherfuckers did. I don't agree with a lot of the updates as far as like the domain lords. It just seems like they just turned a lot of the people into girls. I don't get it particularly, but whatever. But as far as like, is it worthy? Is this a worthy successor to Ravenloft? Is this the new Ravenloft? Yeah, it has a shitload of information, a ton on the different domains. You leave that book feeling stuffed with knowledge about a particular place. Spellfire leaves you feeling like you're full. Like you went to the buffet and you just ate bread. You're full on bread. There's all this stuff you were looking forward to, but you just went and you just ate breadsticks until you threw up and then you went home. It's not a good feeling. Trust me on that. I know. So, look, I can't gush hard enough about how much I want this to succeed, because I loved the days of the campaign setting. I love the days of the box set. I love the fact that you have this game, Dungeons and Dragons, and you have these options of these unique, different, exciting, colorful, creative worlds to play in that change how the game is presented. To me, I think that's just great. I think that's wonderful. So I want them to focus more on that. I've always said that ever since Wizards of the Coast took over from TSR. Like, I wish they would focus more on campaign settings because I love that shit. So I'm so glad to see this. The slipcase is beautiful. The quality is beautiful. Obviously, the artwork is beautiful. It's Wizards of the Coast. You know what you're going to get. For $40, I mean, As far as a value goes, it's a steal. Would I recommend it? It leaves me with a lot more questions than I had answered going into things. And beyond that general vagueness, they waste so much space on pretty little diagrams of ships. The majority of the Astral players, fucker, committee, whatever, is just, hey, look at all these different types of ships. And it's like, okay, look at all these different types of Spelljammer ships. Look, there's one that looks like a scorpion. Look, there's one that looks like a wasp. Look, there's one that looks like a moth. Okay. Look, hey Dave, you want to know how much it costs? If you got some spare money jingling around in your pocket, you could buy it. Like, how about this? What are they? No, nothing. They're just floaty boats in space. I could just build a Volvo and hurl it into the heavens and sail away with my friends. I guess. For all I know. Here's another thing that bothers me. This might be a Dave thing. In Spelljammer, let's say you want to buy a brand new ray gun. Or something like that. In Spelljammer, let's say you want to go and you want to pay a hippo man to accompany you on your spacecraft and go sailing through the cosmos. You would go up to them and you would say, so how much do I owe you? I got some gold and silver coins here. In outer space, the council are aliens. They still use gold and silver pieces and copper pieces. How fucking dare you not have a unique, weirdo, zany, wacky space currency in a game with giant hamsters and evil clowns and vampire space pirates? What is wrong with you that you miss this? Vague. So vague. The book that should have every single fucking thing you need. The most important book in here is the Astral Adventurer's Guide, or Adventurer's Guide, whatever. I don't know. Small letters. I can't read it right now. But a book filled with monsters, whatever. You can make zany space monsters all you want for D&D. It's not an issue. The adventure, you can just take it and put it away and never look at it because all right, there's some neat parts in the adventure. It's cool. Normally I don't read pre-written adventures because they suck. But I wanted to see how they would do this, and I was starved for any kind of information after going through the Astral Adventurer's Guide. And sure, they introduced some new things, the Astral Elf Empire, the Zardaxian, Pterodactylians, whatever the fuck, I don't know. Here's the thing, guys. If you insist on making fucking stupid ass words with a bunch of X's in there and stuff, can you give me a little how to pronounce that thing, right? Here's how you do it right, all right? Vampire the Masquerade, 3rd edition. The Tzimisce. Weird word, actually starts with a T. It's fucking odd. Can I spell Tzimisce? Tzimisce. I think that's right. So they give you this fucking weird ass word. Underneath it, in parentheses, they spell it out. Zim, E-C. I know I put a little T, Tzimisce. I do that because I'm very cultured here. But you know what I'm saying? Like, can you throw me a fucking bone here? With this 8 X's in one fucking word. I can't say this. I could hardly do normal English. I could hardly try to sell pencils on the street, let alone pronounce these words. That irritated me. Anyway, yeah, 2 spells, 3 new magic items, a whole bunch of stuff on different ships. Who cares? Who cares? Tell me what the fuck these things... All right. Imagine a world where they do this right. And they say, okay, Spelljammers, the Spelljammer ship. Here is, because you have the Spelljamming helm, which is like this magical chair that a spellcaster sits in to control and fly this thing through hundreds of millions of miles. And you're not going to explain where the fuck they come from, how they're made, how they're built. You're just going to put a price tag on it, huh? Fuck off. So anyway, imagine if they did, instead of an adventure book, right? If they said, okay, here's the history of spelljamming ships and astral wild space travel and how this whole thing started, and the spelljammers are, here's how they're created, and here's the significance to the culture and what a matter of importance it is to actually have a ship, instead of it being just like, oh, it's just like a car, just like a used car, just go get a car and then just drive it around, and that's all there is to it. Imagine if they did a hey, when you and your team come together, here's how you can build a Spelljammer ship from scratch, and here's, the different model types of ships that are good at different things, different hull upgrades you can do. So it's kind of like you're creating a character as a party, building your ship, and then you get to name your spelljamming ship, and there's a sense of camaraderie because the whole party put their little brain seeds into this idea, and then you had a little character sheet for your ship, and you can give it little quirks and little differences and stuff like that, and you can outfit it with weaponry, and weapons take up a certain amount of space. So do you want a lot of cargo room, or do you want a lot of weapons? While we're on the topic of Spelljammer ship weapons, for fuck's sake, man, you have an outer space game. You're going to go that far. You're going to take me there. But when it comes to I was thinking okay, so these things must have some pretty hardcore weapons. You probably got some really, really cool different types of weapons. No? You have ballista and whatever the fuck a mangonel is. I have no idea what a mangonel is. I'm not even going to Google it. I don't care what a mangonel is. You mean to tell me those are the two different kinds of weapons? Mangonels and ballista. Ballista. A weird word. Ballista. It's like ballista is one, and then if you have more than one, ballista. Oh. You couldn't. Wow, the creativity really ran out early, didn't it, guys? You can't give me some. You give me wacky zany hippo guys, you give me wacky zany monkey guys, you give me plasmoid fucking weird afterbirth monsters. You give me all of this fucking shit, and then you give me, this amazing, astonishing ship that can sail through the stars, shoots big arrows and rocks. All right, guys, whatever, fuck off. Just unbelievably vague, and they waste pages and pages and pages with little fucking blueprints of here's the interior of a ship that looks like a spider. Here's a ship that looks like another bug. Look, hey, can there be a ship that looks like a fly? Okay, I guess here's some more pages of what the, cargo bay looks like. You are peeing away valuable pages that could be spent to enrich the quality of the game and the product at the end of the day. The adventure. Look, the adventure starts off with the players being at level 5. I think it's meant to be played from level 5 to 9, 5 to 10, something like that, whatever. If you're going to make a part of the campaign setting an adventure, why can't it be playable from level 1? Why the fuck not? Why can't you do that? Why would you put out a box set with a campaign setting where you need to be this high level to start the adventure that comes with this campaign setting? The player's characters are not native in the adventure. I mean, sure, you could change it or whatever if you wanted to, but like that's not how the adventure is supposed to be. They're supposed to be saving like their homeworld or whatever. But if the adventure is an introduction to the campaign setting, can we please start at level 1 where you could just make a Spelljammer character and jump into this adventure? Why not, guys? What's the big deal? Why can't we do that? Help me. Help me help you make this better, please, because I want you to succeed. Do you? Are you trying to throw this game, Wizards of the Coast? Is that what this is all about? Because I can't wrap my head around the stuff they did wrong. They did the easy shit wrong, and they did the hard stuff like kind of effortlessly. I don't know how that works. But anyway, the monster manual book, I like the idea. I love the idea of having, because campaign settings should have new unique monsters that are just native to that place. Again, anything to make the world stand out, anything to make the world different, anything to make this place different than that place, do it. Every campaign setting should have their own thing. That's why I hate Forgotten Realms so much, because it's just this bloated fucking thing. There's 900 gods. There's 800 different kingdoms. It's just everything barfed out. There's no, like, tell me, what's the draw for Forgotten Realms? What's like the main idea, bottom line? It's just like basic bitch fantasy is what it is. And I can't stand basic bitch fantasy. Anyway, whatever. So I like the idea of a monster manual for the campaign setting in particular, which is good because it's an outer space setting. A lot of the stuff is very strange. It's very weird. My issue though is, can we dial it back on the level 10 plus monsters? Please. Because sure, that's great. All your wacko dragons and your space whales and your star this, star that, challenge rating 18 creatures. You know what the players are going to be running into most? Level 1 to level 5 shit before they die getting hit by a rock somewhere or whatever the fuck. Like, I would think if anything there would be a wellspring of low challenge rating creatures and kind of sparsely kind of sprinkled higher level things, only because you're gonna be fighting lower level things sooner. That's where you want to hook players. You want, because that's kind of, I'm sorry, this is a sidetrack now, but whatever. Well, I don't have anything to do today. How about you? People tend to sleep on low level encounters, and I think they're the most important because that's what's drawing the characters into the game. I don't particularly give a shit if something's hard to kill as much as is the encounter memorable. You see, like, so many times DMs will focus on numbers and damage and is this too easy? I don't, because fine tuning can be very, very difficult and the dice are going to do what the dice are going to do. But what you do have control over is giving the players an experience. That's your job. How can I make this fight memorable? How can I introduce this monster in a cooler way? Sure, we've all, I'm level 1. What do we fight? Rats or goblins or whatever the fuck? You don't have to. You can make monsters, you can make low level encounters that are interesting, that keep a player's interest. So I always hate when books focus on the threats that aren't going to be showing up for a while. Give me a ton of low-level fucking rubes, because that's what low-level players are going to be fighting for the vast majority, more times than not. You know what I mean? So it always kind of bothers me when they pull the, yeah, that's cool, great, all your high-level monsters and shit, that's fine. We'll never be seeing those probably, or not for a really long time. So hook a brother up, please. And more low level stuff. There's no reason why low level fights can't be interesting. That's when it means more. That's when it matters more. Anyway, bottom line, Spelljammer. I love the spirit. The spirit is good. I like things that are fun and not ultra serious. But we have a severe scaling issue now. I always assumed it was difficult to kind of sail from one world to another, right? And you'd have your plane shifting stuff or whatever. It seems like a pretty big deal. But in Spelljammer, apparently, you can just get on one of these ships if you got 20,000 gold lying around and you want to go to buy a spacecraft. Just go to your local Spelljammer spider ship dealer, get in one and sail wherever the fuck you want to go. Kind of makes armies and people fighting with like bow and it's like, wow, you guys are fighting for over castles and shit. That's pretty dumb. I'm in outer space on a fucking crab ship, just sailing around. I just went to the crab ship store and bought one, and I'm sailing around in outer fucking space. I can go wherever the fuck I want. I got 3 magic items and I got 2 brand new spells. Woohoo! I don't know, man. Am I disappointed? Am I disappointed? You know, I think it's too early to tell. Just the stuff they whiffed on is the easy, simple shit, and the thing I thought was going to be my biggest complaint ended up not being an issue at all. So I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm confused. I'm crestfallen. I just want them to do more. I am whatever it is that will make them do more of these. Please don't stop. Please, I want to see a fucking Birthright box set. I want to see a Dark Sun box set. I want to see a Planescape box set. I want to see it all. Give it all to me. I'll buy it. This will chalk up growing pains, a misunderstanding, perhaps. Outer space. The final flim-flam. These are the voyages of a ship I paid 20 grand for. You know how like in the DM's guide where it has like market value for magic items, and some of them are like $20,000. How dumb would you feel if you were like, I actually found there's a vendor in a cottage somewhere who sold me a +5 sword for 20,000 gold pieces. And I saved up and I saved up and I went and I said, give me that sword. And I gave them 20,000 gold pieces and they gave me a +5 fucking sword. You could have bought a fucking spaceship, dog. Think about it. In Biden's America, in Biden's solar system, can you afford not to?